About 64 million Americans live in a dental desert where they don't have access to proper dental care. And like we talked about last week, there are 2 million visits to the ER every year for non traumatic dental work. And I think a lot of that has to do with the shortages in these rural areas where the only option they have is to go to urgent care and emergency room to get the dental care that they need.
Absolutely. I think Indiana's taking a very interesting approach to this issue because I think there are tons of states across the country that face this issue of not having the correct access to dental care. Indiana recently signed a House bill which creates a new pathway for foreign trained dentists to practice as dental hygienists.
Yeah, super interesting way of tackling some of these dental shortages because obviously you hear stories about people who have been surgeons in their home country. They move to the U.S., they can't practice, and now all of a sudden they're the local garbage man. And so taking advantage of people, not necessarily taking advantage, but utilizing the workforce that exists. So if they've been trained as a dentist in another country, they have a easier route to licensure to become a dental hygienist, which is something that, especially in rural areas, is needed to kind of bridge the dental labor market gap. But it's introduced a lot of barriers and bureaucracy that I think a lot of states are now trying to remove to make it more accessible again for these people in underserved populations, which I think ultimately there's the pros and cons, right? It makes things a little bit less regulated, which is always a little bit scary. But at the same time, having dental access to dental care may be what is ultimately the solution for some of these people that don't have access to a dentist. I think the ADA in their report said that it would take about 10,000 new dentists in America to overcome the labor shortage and provide adequate dental care to everyone in America. And so that's probably not going to happen fast. And so bridging the gap with some of these other legislative measures seems like a good way to make that progress, and then opens up the door for a lot of people to hire hygienists who may have been dentists in their country of origin. And so anyways, I think that there are some really creative things being done to try and bridge that gap by relaxing some of the regulations in a way that is still safe.
I think it's awesome that Indiana and other states are taking this initiative to try and solve some of these problems.